Welcome back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
And we're missing somebody.
Yeah, we were supposed to have our guest Austin, but he had to work a double.
Yep.
So he is missing this week.
Next week. It'll be okay.
Yeah. We're all still pumped.
Yes. Well, and I think it gives us room to kind of continue our conversation from last week, which didn't come to any kind of appropriate conclusion.
A portion of it.
Yes.
Because I don't want to go over the whole thing
No,
again.
no.
We'll get lost.
It's very much relevant to where we are this week.
Yeah.
But first, some housekeeping. If this is your very first time joining us, I'm Karina. This is Chris. Excuse me. And we both have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. My brain was trying to say 3 different things.
I was going to say there are a lot of problems.
I was like, wait, hold on.
That's just one of them.
That's our umbrella.
Yeah.
And this is our podcast where we discuss kind of invisible experiences, chronic experiences, and just life being ill.
Yeah.
In one way or another. And that includes our mental health and other kind of disenfranchised experiences.
Yeah. And just daily struggles too.
Right.
Lots of everything that people can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us on Spotify and other places that you can find podcasts.
Except
for the audio. For Apple. We don't do Apple.
No,
Never Apple. And we're on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching us, hi. If not, why aren't you watching us?
Right?
We're
Come on,
hilarious.
just be stupid.
We emote with our faces.
And hands and whole bodies.
There's also a Discord if you want to talk to us and talk to some really awesome people about your anything that's going on.
They are fantastic. I don't think we could have prayed for a better community.
No,
so
it made itself, and it made itself wonderful. So
absolutely. You can also find us some silly stuff on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook.
That's all of it.
Yeah, I think that's it, which is fantastic. But there's one more thing. Go check out our Teespring.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
We do have a Teespring.
You going to tell them about the Teespring?
Our Teespring has lots of merch. That's all I know. We have designs, and we're adding more designs, and it's good.
Yes. And I'm working on some customizable ones, which will be kind of fun. Because I decided hobbies were a thing again and was hyper-focus, make stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it. I wore a hole in my finger working on it. So there's that.
She did. What day did you come over? There was a day you came over and the kids put Band-Aids on you.
Oh, that's right. It was... That's a really good question, actually.
Sunday.
It was Sunday, yeah.
When we had to re-record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And then we went to the thing. With the moon. The moon was there.
Oh, God. That's what starts this weekly recap?
Yes.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Right?
No, I guess just jump into it.
Yep. So that would make it time for the weekly recap.
Check in.
Indeed. So we both had the same kind of Sunday.
Yes, we did.
With our fun PTSD triggers. It was good stuff. So we spent part of Saturday triggered.
Yes.
And then Sunday partially triggered, I guess. And then re-triggered.
Yeah. It was a mess.
It was.
Really, we went to go see the lunar eclipse,
and
we watched it, and then we were surprised, and then it got crazy.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything horrendous either.
No.
It was just there was a lot of stuff happening. We were already kind of
on
melting,
and
feeling kind of weird. And then, somebody showed up. We weren't expecting to show up, and the world got flipped upside down, and and I had to leave. I had to full blown leave.
Jen didn't even know she left.
That's because I was fight or flight, and I was don't want to do the fight thing. We're gonna do the flight thing because I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't have the spoons to confront the situation or mask. I think it was the masking that I was more afraid of having to do. And instead of the prospect of masking, I was like, no, I'm going to go.
No, what was expected of the situation when said person arrived was that you would interact.
Yes.
Just, there's no way.
No.
Not at that point.
No, not after so long being able to not mask. I was I'm not going to play that game right now.
As a side note, I got these really pretty pictures of the moon.
He did. His camera is way better than
all of the ones that were there.
Everybody's.
And I caught those on my phone. Yeah. So.
Are you going to remember to put them in?
Yeah. I didn't remember to put in the other stuff, but I remember to put this in.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, be patient with our editing because sometimes we have to do like reshoots and then we still get them out on Saturdays for you, but sometimes the like inserts don't always make it in because we're busy and we have limited spoons.
Well, and it was just one. The problem is I had to come down here and reshoot it, but I wanted you to be here.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be us sitting in here taking a picture of the room.
But we did that.
We didn't get meet together this week, so
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. It's all good. And if you're like us and you're living the spoony life, you understand.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah, that was Saturday and Sunday. Trying to think. My week, I think, was pretty mellow for the most part. I don't think anything crazy was happening except I had been feeling that storm because remember they said it was going to start on Tuesday. I had been feeling it since like Sunday and the storm came through yesterday.
Yeah, finally came through on yesterday.
Yeah.
But I felt it. I think starting Tuesday was when it started to affect me.
Yeah.
Like really badly. Oh my God.
So that sucked. You had some appointments this week though, yeah?
Oh yeah, I did. Oh boy, did I. I had trauma Sunday. Then I took 2 days to rest because I was feeling the storm. And then Wednesday happened and I went to go see, what did I see? I saw
my new
psychologist.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. My original psychologist, but in her new practice.
Right.
Which is really adorable, actually. She got this little like unit and it's all decorated. It's just adorable. Good. I love it. Super comforting.
Good.
And it's just her and her assistant. Like,
oh, nice.
You know,
it's just kind of intimate and cozy.
Right. Like,
that's nice.
I had to do a UA and instead of like making a big deal of being hush hush about it, they just brought it in and they looked at the like what was triggered and she was like, okay, morphine. Are you taking anything? I was like, yeah, I'm on Percocet. And she's like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's to be expected.
But it was a 2-hour reintroduction. So she had to reevaluate. Which meant I had to do the OCD workup, the ADHD workup, the PTSD workup, anxiety, depression, and bipolar. Yeah, I had to do all of those.
That is a lot.
Yeah, by the end of it, well, I'll get to that. It's pretty awesome. So it started, and like she started with anxiety, and then I was like, well, this happened when I was young, like childhood stuff.
Yeah. She's
like, okay, man, that sucks. Like that's rough. That's definitely where these are coming from, like the anxiety and depression bits. And then I got to middle school, which has the school shooting, which blew her mind.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well then there's that too. And then I was like, well then my later years when bipolar really kicks in are all having to do with like EDS, and I had tons of surgeries. I've had a back surgery. And she was like, at the end of it, she was like, I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah.
I was like, me too. You know what?
It took some work. you know.
Yeah. And a lot of it was like I had to do the workup as if I wasn't on my medications. So I had to do like her fixing me.
Oh.
Because all the things I got that fixed me, like she was the one who originally diagnosed me.
Yeah.
So I had to go through and remember everything, like what it was like. And like, yeah, no, before you, it was bad. And it was like this. I had to do that just tedious breakdown of everything.
Yeah.
It was a rough day. So I got home and I just crashed.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to bed now. I'm triggered as fuck. I'm just done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I said before, we got into it, but we didn't get into it. There was no resolution to it. It was just, here's all the bad things that have happened to me.
Cool. See you next time.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get into it.
That's the worst. That's like when my psych made me cry and then was like, oh, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Bye.
And
I was like, oh, okay.
Anna's not like that. She didn't like mean for it to go that way, but
no. And well, I don't think Jackie did either, but
it sucks when it happens.
Yeah. You're just like, okay, there's no resolution here.
And then the next day I had my spinal visit finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was with the PA.
Okay.
So it was this really incredulous dude. He didn't believe me, I think, for the first bit. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I hate that.
I wrote down notes because I was like, I'm in the moment. I'm going to write down how I feel.
Good.
So let's read my notes. Let's see. We have seemed incredulous. Yeah, definitely. Definitely reacted to the fact that I have pain meds on board. Oh, my God.
Oh, I hate...
Oh, my God.
They're like,
the way he treated me.
You have medication?
Why do you have this?
You're bad.
How often do you take it? Why do you take it that often? Like, well, excuse me, but I've had this, and this, and then I have this, and then this. And he was like, okay.
Like you had a spinal fucking surgery.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, after he did the physical, he started to take it more serious.
Good.
Like he did like the...
I hate that. I
had to like, wiggle the toes and shit. And he's like, yeah, I can wiggle my big toe. You can see it. I can wiggle my big toe, but not my other ones.
It's crazy.
I'm leaving.
Oh, I had a moment too about... I'll get into that later, but...
Okay.
Ugh.
And then, let's see. The things I have to do PT again. More PT. Have you done PT? Have you done it in the last year? Jen messed it up because I have done PT in the last year, and I have done an ablation in the last year, but she put it outside of that scope. So now he's like, let's revisit those. So I'm doing PT.
No more ablations though. You've done so many, and they don't go well, and they don't work, and they only wind up hurting you.
Yeah, he's not doing that.
Okay,
Thank
good.
God,
I was going to say, like, I will put my foot down, and I will come with you to the next appointment, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no,
and I will fight this man.
I wouldn't let him.
No.
What else? There's more imaging, of course, with Di.
Yeah.
Because he thinks the tumor's back, which didn't show in the imaging.
But you've had scans.
I know, but they weren't recent enough scans. They were in May.
I hate when they do that, where they're like, we're contributing your symptoms that you've had for a very long time to this maybe possibly just brand new thing. And I'm like, no.
Right. He just, and then I get to do a nerve scan. What is it called? Nerve.
Oh, is it the one where they stick needles in you and see how your
induction test?
Yeah, that one.
Yep. They're going to zap both my legs for hours.
Fun.
I hate it. It is one of my least favorite things to do.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Kaiser's so weird because they want to like compartmentalize. They're like, we will only tackle one body part at a time.
Yeah.
And you're like, but everywhere. And they're like, only a leg. And I'm like, but everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have that going.
Great. Wonderful.
And then, let's see, Friday I was just dead to the world. Yeah. As were you.
Yes.
And then...
Yeah. Would you stop?
Your phone is going cray-cray.
Motion at my front door.
Lots of motion. And then today, I didn't wake up until it was time to record.
Yep. Well, and I was running late because...
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because what I did is I got up, I was starting to get ready, and then I jumped on my bed to grab the phone, and then I woke up at 11:20.
Nap.
And I was like, oh my God, it's 11:20. I just jumped on the bed. And then it's been fatigue city.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Let's see. How did the week play out? Okay, so after being triggered and going home, because I'm not kidding, I left. Mm-hmm. Like, I said goodbye to you, and then I went down because they were like, we need to move the table. And I was like, aha, a reason to walk away from here without seeming like I'm, like, running away.
It worked well.
Yes, and so I helped move some stuff, and then I was like, okay, bye. This is where I make my daring escape. And so I left, and I went home, and I'm getting a lot better at, like, identifying my own needs, because that's really where I struggle is, like, I have a need, maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. And so I got home and my husband was playing games and I just like looked at him and I was like, PTSD triggered again, still some more. I need an affection, please. And he was just like, yep, come here. And so I laid with him while he played video games and it felt much better.
Nice.
So I got a need met by communicating explicitly.
You did it.
Like a winner. Yeah, so there was that. And then throughout the week, it was kind of rough. Oh my gosh, that's what it was. I think it was on Monday because they were like, oh, how's your weekend? Blah, blah, blah. Because we all just were like shooting the shit. And I sat down with my school-based therapist, the one who initially told me and was like, this was way back when, not way back when, but earlier this school year, where she was like, okay, so you live this lifestyle of like, you're in pain, but it's okay. Yeah. But what if you change that up and you go, you're in pain and it's okay? And that like was a huge thinking shift for me that helped a lot. And we sat down and went through like my entire history.
Oh, so you did it too?
Yes.
You had a full breakdown.
It was crazy. And she's hearing this and I'm like talking and I'm wondering if like I'm dumping on her, but she's still engaged and she's still asking questions. And she's like, that's unbelievable and incredible and none of that is normal, and like I can't believe you went through that. I'm so sorry you went through that, but holy crap, you came out the other side amazingly. And then she was asking questions like, regular therapy questions, therapy type questions. And even got to the point because I was like, ugh, my body feels weird and gross and I don't like it. The pressure must have changed. And she was like, do you think it's because we're talking about this? And I was like, no, like I'm totally comfortable talking about it now. Like I'm like, the blame has shifted from me. And I'm okay with being like, yeah, all this stuff happened to me.
Same. And I was blown away that I was just sharing.
Right.
Like, there was no stopping it. I was like, I'll just go through everything.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Because it's at this point, it's just fact.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these are the things that happened. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have somebody else sit there and be like, holy crap, none of that is normal. And I'm so sorry you went through that. And wow.
Have some validation.
Wow. Yeah. So she got my whole history and that was fun times. The week was nuts. Thursday was senior presentations and we all cried. Everybody cried.
Of course.
Oh, it was heart-wrenching and wonderful at the same time. There were kids where I was just like, I am so unbelievably proud of you. I can't stand it. Like I'm turning inside out. And then I've got kids who like cried through giving their presentations because they got to like the reflections and acknowledgements piece and like I'm in there for all the ones that I was on the panel for, obviously, duh. And 2 of my babies who were mine last year and were now Summer's this year. And so all of us are just crying the whole time. It was overwhelming.
Nerds. Feelings.
I know. Oh my God. When I see them walk, we're all going to cry. We're all we're going to bawl. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. And then Friday, and it was funny because we were leaving and my coworker Lily looks at me and she's like, okay, see you Monday maybe? And I was like, no, I think I'll be here. And they were like, okay, the weather. And I was like, yeah, it's going to suck, blah, blah, blah. And then Friday, like I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. So at 5:30, I texted my boss and was like, hey, I'm having a really hard time. I'm trying, but it's going to take me a while. And I fully planned on going.
Yeah.
And I had an alarm go off like every 20 minutes-ish, maybe 15 at the most. And I was just snoozing and snoozing and snoozing because I couldn't get up. Could not get up. Fatigue was so unbelievable that like it just wasn't happening. So I wound up taking the day because at one point I was texting my boss again and I was like, I'm really trying, but I'm really struggling. And then finally she was just like, do you need to take the day? Like, it's okay. And so I checked in with my crew to make sure that everything was actually okay and the world wasn't burning down.
Yeah.
And then I basically went back to sleep. And I think I slept until like, I don't know. Oh, I was very late for my pain and PTSD group because I didn't have my computer. My computer was at work. And so I'm trying to get my husband's computer set up, but then I don't have audio, and then I couldn't find the mic, and blah, blah, blah. So I was late, but I made it and sat through, and we did our thing, and blah, blah, blah. And we have new homework. And then new homework. So, you know how we were working on the, like, ABC chart thing?
Yeah.
Which is, like, something happens, you tell yourself something, you feel away.
Yeah.
Right? And during the recap, I was like, I really struggled to do one about pain. Like, I couldn't. Summer had to actually come to me and help me and be like, okay, so maybe not pain, but what about the dysautonomia? And I was like, oh, I can definitely do one for that because fatigue is the end of me. But that's where I start telling myself those, like, stories. So I had to sit there and, like, after hearing that this same woman who had been really struggling last week, talking about all of her, like, stuck points and things. And it was interesting because, like, those nasty things you tell yourself, at some point you really believe them. And it was interesting to hear because, like, one of the reflection pieces for those sheets is, like, is that way of thinking or is that thought or that stuck point realistic or helpful? And she was like, well, realistic, it's, like, accurate. Maybe not helpful, but it's accurate. And you're like,
yeah,
this is why you're stuck. There we go. Got it. But I was like, I can't do one for pain because pain is my shadow, like, it goes everywhere with me all the time. So no, I don't tell myself, there's no stories for me to tell myself about my pain. And if I know what the pain is, it just goes like, oh, yep, there's that one again, file that away. But I was like, okay, here's what I could do around like fatigue and dysautonomia. And so at the end of it, I really appreciated my pain psych was like, okay, so you need to do one each like every day. Okay. One for PTSD and one for pain.
Okay.
And she was like, but I'm going to change pain to be around illness in general.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I can do that because pain is not a problem for me.
Right.
I mean,
well,
it is, but it's, yes,
that's
exactly. Good. So I think they're finally starting to understand where I come from and like how I function. Because it's not something I tell myself a story about.
No.
Ever. Like, unless it's an unidentified pain where I'm like, that might be damage.
Yeah. And
then when I know it's not damage, then I'm like, okay, know what that one is now.
Add it to the catalog.
We are going to put a label on it and we're going to add it to the catalog.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. Oh, and then we talked about like stuck points around me having to take the day because I hate doing that. I hate it. But I was also like, lol, Lily knew. She was like, see you Monday maybe. And then I was not there on Friday, even though I was like, what are you talking about? I'll be there. No.
It's like when I was rewatching the episodes and the first thing you say, like in one of them, the first thing you're like, in the future I may have to take Wednesdays. I just hope it's not anytime soon. Flash forward to the end of the year.
Yes. Where Wednesdays are work for home days. Yeah. But I think that kind of brings us to transition.
Oh yeah. Good transition point.
Yeah.
Segues are hard.
Segues are hard. I don't know.
Let's tell you about our sponsor, Depression.
Trauma,
yeah.
Brought to you by Trauma.
All right.
So last week was kind of, it was it was an interesting one. I really enjoyed the conversation, but we did not come to any resolution.
We're hoping that the Discord will light up.
Yeah.
And we can actually converse in there and see what's going on.
Right.
Because I'm sure Ruth will have something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Beyond what we
change
can
our perspective.
Bring
like,
in.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Which is why we are many voices. We love our many voices. And we love hearing from anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we want to talk a little more about like PTSD.
Yeah.
This week.
We're kind of doing like a mental health month.
Yeah.
Because we're doing PTSD this week, and the next week we'll be doing bipolar.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Right.
Our guest has bipolar, and so do I, and we're going to talk about it.
I'm really excited for that one.
It'll be good.
Excited. It'll be good. It'll be really good. But yeah, no, this week I think, because it was just really on topic for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of led into it last week, but didn't really explore our own.
Yeah, it wasn't like what
PTSD.
we were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
We were just on passing. I think the thing we said was like, PTSD is like fighting an addiction.
Yes, very much.
It's a constant battle.
Yes.
Even when you're in the good times.
It's a lifelong battle.
Yeah.
And this weekend and this week just kind of showed us that we are absolutely correct.
Yeah, no, it kicked our butts.
Yeah.
We had the weekend trauma, and then we both had midweek breakdowns of everything.
Yes.
Let's revisit all the things and see how you're doing, actually. Let's
Woo.
test you.
Uh-huh.
It's like we got tested on how our skills are.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you ready for them? Are you good? Think you can handle it?
Well, and it's interesting now because we can identify when we've been triggered.
Oh, yeah.
Which is different. And
instead of just
huge
becoming giant assholes about
yeah,
it.
Right.
Like having that panic response.
It was funny because my husband called me yesterday because he was out having some drinks with friends after their graduation. And then one of them got belligerent and was trying to drive, and he had to like mediate that situation, and he wound up like calling police to come just make sure she didn't drive away because it was snowing, and that was gross. And yeah, she was very, very drunk. And so he calls me and he's like, I'm having a panic attack in the bathroom. Oh my God, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, hold on. 5 things you can see. And so I walk him through it. And then later he was like, that thing you did with me was really helpful. Like, that really worked.
Amazing.
And I was like, yeah, that's called grounding. That's what you and I do for each other.
He needs to go see someone who will do these things.
Right.
Like, I don't know what he does in his sessions or if he even sees them enough.
He's not with anybody anymore.
Oh.
Because he's waiting for insurance to pop back around on the other side. So we open enrollment is this month. But all of that starts again in August.
Yeah.
And so when he has his better plan in August, we will be in better shape.
Hopefully he can find somebody that'll do these like skill building exercises.
Right. Because like you and I have a lot of skills and we just need to explore things. But I think he needs that skill building piece more than anything. So.
Well, it works for him. Like he actually did it.
Yeah.
Like I could imagine him just kind of blowing you off because he was panicked, but he actually sat there and
just
did
like,
it.
Nope, 5 things you see. Okay, cool. What are 4 things you hear around you? What are 3 things that you can, what did I say? Not touch. What can you feel? Like sense-wise, sensory-wise. And so we got through all that and he did a really good job. And then he was like, I'm not in a panic attack anymore. And I was like, yeah, cool. It worked. But that's the like practicing of soft skills. Yeah. And even when we have to like use them to help other people, I think in the past that in and of itself could be triggering.
Yeah, no, when I was helping Austin that one time, I had to stop about halfway through. Yeah. Because like I could hear him getting back into it, like like re-amping up. Right. And I was like, it's triggering me. And this was like a while ago, but I could feel it. Like I was like, Jen, take over because I gotta lay down for a sec. Right. But at least I noticed it.
Exactly. Well, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, being able to identify when we start slipping is like half the battle in and of itself. And being able to go, okay, I'm having a PTSD response. This is where I'm at in my world. Makes a ton of difference because then we're not just asshole mode and we're not like, we don't slide so much into that fight or flight without knowing why. Right. I mean, I still fell into fight or flight, but I knew why. And I knew what it was that I was going to escape from.
I think in a world where you were not tired and already like triggered, I think you could have handled it. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. But I was like, I can't do the same PTSD all weekend long and then be like, yeah, let's do it again, still some more.
Well, yeah, we were just coming off of the original thing on Saturday. Like things were starting to calm down. But yeah. What a mess.
It was crazy. So it's really interesting to, I don't know, even just in retrospection, to think about where we were.
I know. I was thinking about that when we first were talking about the first skills that we were picking up. Yeah. Like, I remember talking about holding ice and stuff back when we were on the couch and we were recording with a webcam. Yeah. Like, that was a while ago. Right. We've come very far.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And just being able to be like, hey, like walking into a room and looking at my husband and being like, hey, I'm triggered. Here's where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. And this is what I need.
It's weird because I feel like I don't take a lot out of the therapy. Like, I'm not against it. I just don't feel like I'm taking a lot from it. But apparently I am. Right. It's reaching me. And I'm just, I don't know. I'm taking a lot more out of it than I expected. Yeah. And using it.
What's interesting is I think you and I do a better job of committing things like subconsciously when we are able to discuss them at length. Yeah. And so like being taught the thing is one thing and we're like, yeah, blah, blah, got it, whatever. But then being able to be like, here are the skills that I have learned and here's how to use them. Yeah. Then we can like, oh yeah, these are the skills that I've learned and here's how to use them. And then you and I have practiced, like we kind of became each other's like practice dummies.
Oh, totally.
Right? Yeah. Like, and then it was funny because don't you hate when you have moments where you're like, damn it, my therapist was right? Oh, yeah. Man, like, stop that. And I had my therapist at one point who was like, okay, you and your brother are great support systems for each other, but I need you to practice reaching out to someone who's not your brother. And I was like,
I feel called out. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Keeping me safe.
Like, what the heck?
How
am I
dare
not
you?
Good enough for doctors?
No, you're just not challenging enough.
Yeah, because it's not going into your comfort zone.
And so I started with Summer.
Yeah, which is a great way to go, honestly.
Yeah, right.
I would feel good talking to Summer about things.
Right.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should be like, hey, Summer, you want to help me out on my stuff? I should probably be reaching out to other people, too. Just saying.
Right, yeah, there you go. Well, and it's nice because I can have, like, Summer starts to lean on me as well. And so it's, like, it's very mutual. And I think that's part of why it works so well is because we don't feel burdensome to one another. Yeah. Which is one of our stuck points. Great. If you're curious, a stuck point is like that thing you fall back on.
I need
the thing you're like trying to like prove to yourself.
I want to know what my stuck point is.
So
I feel pretty liberated at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the last couple of weeks and stuff, I've been doing really well. So
yeah, well, and even when we're triggered, and I don't think the objective is to never be triggered.
No.
And I think that is where a lot of people get stuck, is like, I've gone to therapy and I'm never going to have to struggle with this again. Nope. When in reality, it's like an addiction and you will struggle with it forever.
The end goal being that you want to be able to live through it.
Yes.
Not have it like affect your daily life.
Yeah. Well, and not making it other people's problems that you've been triggered.
Right.
Which, like, Summer and I had to talk about this week as well.
That's a good one.
Because there was, I think she triggered somebody inadvertently.
Yeah.
And felt really bad. And I was like, you can feel bad and you can apologize. But at the end of the day, like, you are not responsible for cushioning the world.
Yeah.
And also, like, you can apologize and be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And I'm sorry you're having a hard time with it. But also, don't take on the responsibility of other people's triggers. I
had that problem last night.
Oh, really?
I was talking with Steph. We were in a call. It was Steph, me, and Austin. And Steph was talking about her divorce stuff. Yeah. And it was not a good joke. I don't feel good about this joke. But I was thinking about my experience with divorce. Yeah. And my mom got custody because of shit that was going on Dad's side, right?
Yes.
And I said, if only Zach was doing something similar, then it'd be easier for you to get custody.
Oh, dear.
But I was very graphic about what happened to me. And Austin was not mentally prepared for that comment.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was in it. Like,
yeah.
At the end of it, he was really cool. He's like, I was not ready for that conversation. And I'm feeling a little out of it now. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I did not mean for it to be
right.
And we talked it out, but he was able to identify.
That's awesome.
Which is huge. He was like, this conversation made me uncomfortable. He didn't leave. Yeah. He didn't anything. He stuck to it. And he was able to hopefully calm down last night.
Yeah.
Before he went to bed.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m. for an 8-hour shift or a 12-hour shift that starts at 8. Smart. I kept telling him to go to bed. He wouldn't go to bed. Just like, dude, it's 3 a.m.
He was like, but you're my comfort person.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was like, you can't be responsible for other people.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why, like, for me, I have a hard time with, like, trigger warning and blah, blah, blah. Unless you're, like, being super graphic about things. Yeah. I don't think there's a need to do that because people need to be responsible for their feelings.
I don't know how to tell
and their reactions.
I don't know how where it starts and where it stops. Like, at what point do I need to worry about triggering people? I mean, last night, clearly, not what I'm talking about. I'm like, with the podcast, we go into some conversations and I'm like, is this enough to trigger something? I mean, I'm sure it is, but do I need to put a trigger warning in? I don't know.
I think if we got into like, and I mean, we've done content warnings for things like self-harm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think that one's appropriate, right?
Yeah, totally.
And like self-harm in and of itself, I think that's appropriate to trigger warn. That to me makes sense. But when we're talking about like emotionality, I'm like, you can't put your comfort on other people.
Yeah.
That is not how the world works. And that's not how.
Well, and our conversations need to go to certain places to get to where we're trying to get.
Yeah.
Like, we're verbally processing and getting to a point.
Yeah.
We need to get through the hard stuff.
Yeah. But we've also never, like, explicitly gone through our traumas.
No.
Which I think we would content warn if we ever were to do that. But I think we have enough grace to not go into that. Because I think, I mean, we can all relate to things without having to go detailed and graphic.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, people are responsible for their feelings, and we are responsible for our own feelings, and we are responsible for how we respond to those feelings.
Right.
And therapy is one of the tools that we use to learn how to be responsible for those things. That's just kind of where I sit with it.
Yeah, no joke.
But yeah, no, I think it's a hard thing because people are not used to being responsible for their own things.
Well, yeah. I had to have that conversation with Austin a couple times where he was worried how other people would react to something he did.
Yeah.
Like inadvertently, like not the person involved, but like other people around him.
Oh,
like, dude, you can't control that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Right. Well, and I got called out. My therapist definitely called me out. She was like, you do a lot of like like active, I don't even know how she put it. I don't remember, but like trying to control the narrative around myself.
Oh, yes.
Which now I'm like, oh crap, you're totally right. And yeah, to an extent, I do worry about what other people are thinking about me because of that trauma piece. And that is absolutely a PTSD thing because...
Do you do that? Okay, so there's like covering it up because you want people to think well of you. But there's also masking and doing that to like keep them from like feeling bad for you. Like, or feeling bad because of your past. Because like I will avoid subjects.
Oh,
because I don't want to be like, I don't want to upset
pity.
someone. Yeah. I don't want them to be like, oh, I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like,
I don't like that one. Yeah, I try to avoid it that way.
I think that's the biggest thing that we avoid is that we like, it's not a matter of like trying to make people think that we're amazing. It's like, we don't want people to feel bad for us. So
yes. That's very much it. Like, I don't want people being like, oh, sweetie, how are you?
Oh my God.
Every day. I'm like, stop. Like, you are disrupting how I have to like survive. Knock it off. This is my everyday forever. Cut it out. That's like if I walked up to someone and I was like, oh no, you're still blonde? I'm so sorry. What?
I would do that to a friend. I would totally do that to somebody.
It would be
now
funny.
I've got to find somebody.
It would be really funny, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's dumb. And that's why, like, I struggle with pain group a lot because other people are not ready for the conversations that I want and need to have.
Well, that's why they're in group, right? They need to be confronted with the hard stuff.
Well, and it was interesting because they were like, well, what could you, for this woman is really struggling and her family just sounds like they're not it. Like I
already know who you're talking about.
Manipulators and like narcissistic behavior and ickiness. And so she is using that to prove to herself that like, I am the worst and I'm worthless and I'm garbage and people treat me like that because I deserve to be treated that way. Right. Those are her stuck points. And everybody else, they were like, okay, group. So can anybody help her come up with some things that you could say to yourself when you feel that way next time? And so everyone was like, you're loved and you're blah, 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 blah. And I was like, those are things that you're not going to be able to believe.
Right. No.
And if you don't believe it, there's no point. And so I chimed in and I was like, one of the things that I use and have used with students in the past and really like is they're not doing it to you. They're just doing it. And so by the end of everybody going around, Jackie, my therapist, was like, okay, are there any of those that like you could adopt? And she was like, well, the other ones feel untrue.
Yes. Lady is my kind of lady.
Yeah. She was like, it feels untrue. I don't want to, like, there's no proof of I am loved.
Right.
That doesn't feel true to me.
She can't just make it up.
Yeah. And then she was like, but I did like the one where they're not doing it to you. They're just doing it. And I was like, see, there we go. There you go.
We need to come up with a bunch of mottos because that's one of ours.
Yeah.
Explicit communication. Ghost haunted bodiness.
Yup.
Which is going to be a shirt. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm
so excited.
We have a bunch of those. And that's definitely become one of them.
There's a ton of them that I'm like, these are the things that I use and have like adopted to help myself and like get myself out of those stuck points. But like, that's the thing. Like, you can't come to a point and be like, oh, I'm loved right off the bat. You can't. Like, thinking about those low points where you're like, clearly I am worthless and should go die in a hole. I don't know. No, and then someone being like,
feeling
people love you. And you're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure they do. Yeah. Because it doesn't feel true.
No.
And if it doesn't feel true, it's no good to you.
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to help a little bit, but also like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's going to be slow moving. Yeah. And that frustrates me a little bit.
Well, you know a lot of this stuff already.
Yeah.
But there are things you're picking up like piece by piece, just randomly as you go.
Right.
You're having realizations.
Yeah.
I had one at Psych this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She worded something and immediately I objected in my head and then I was like, wow, that was weird. Huh. So like she said that I was a victim of the school shooting.
Oh.
And I was like, no, I wasn't a victim.
Bleh. Yeah.
But I was like, well, no, I guess I just because I'm alive doesn't mean I wasn't a victim of it. That changed the whole paradigm for me.
Yeah.
That was weird. Just when they have those random sentences that hit you.
Right.
And you're like, oh, shit.
Well, let me object to that real quick. Yeah, no. When people are like, you're a survivor. And you're like,
yeah.
hold on, I gotta go throw up now.
Yeah, I wasn't
like, you're
expecting that.
strong.
Well, I mean, we are, but we're kind of the best. We're kind of really good.
I'm gonna turn inside out. Stop it.
You're kind of my anchor. I gotta start saying.
Okay, it's time to go on break.
I broke her. I mean, it is time for break.
It's time for break now. We have to go have a conversation.
I know what I want to do. I want to find a stuck point for me, and then I want to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, we can walk through.
Because I've got to have them. I don't know what they are.
I think you have probably a few that I have.
Probably.
That are like being around being a burden or being the problem.
Right. There's got to be.
When my therapist said the problem, I was like, "Oh no, you've nailed it down. Oh no, I am the problem."
So we're gonna go have some deep conversations.
Yeah.
But what should you be doing?
You need to drink some water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You need to take your meds if you forgot.
Yep. Yeah. Take a break. Dry off your hands if you're doing dishes. Take your meds.
And then take a break.
Yes.
Maybe eat something.
Yeah. Like have a snack.
You are a snack.
I was waiting for it. I was like, he's going to say it.
But
I'm waiting. There we go. You are a snack. Own it. Own your snackedness. Let's see. Find some sunlight if you can. Yeah. I don't know that there's a whole lot here to be had because you know what? In Colorado, it's snowing in May.
Yeah, it is.
Or it snowed in May.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 inches too.
I know. It blew my. I thought it was going to be like a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's broken branches everywhere. It's great. If you don't have access to sunlight, maybe find something snuggly and soft. Hence, baby zebras.
Oh, yeah. And if we haven't already come up with a name,
yes, comment
names for our zebras or put it in the Discord.
Yes.
We need to name them.
Our zebra stuffies need names. Anything else? Check out the Teespring.
There's an ad in the middle. We don't have to tell them about it.
Oh, good.
That's what plays on our break now.
Aha, yes. It's my voice. Or Jen's. I don't know.
It's yours.
We'll see. Oh, great. More things.
And if you want to hate the ad, cover your ears if you don't want to hate the ad. If you want me to break it, listen to the way she says backpack. It kills me every time.
Backpack. How did I say it?
It's just, you say, I don't know. Something about it just it hits me weird.
I was probably stumbling over a word and I barely got it out. Backpack. Backpack.
But listen for it. It's great.
Great. Awesome. Tease me about it in the comments.
My very favorite backpack. Anyways.
Backpack. All right.
We're going to break.
Yes. Time to take a break. You also take a break. And I guess we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah. Bye.
Fantastic Pains now has merch. I know we've been promising it for a while, but it is here. You can find our stuff at fantastic-pains.creator-spring.com. We have t-shirts, hoodies, leggings, wine coolers, I guess you can call them, and my very favorite backpack. So take a minute, go check us out.
Welcome back. How was your break? Ours was great.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about fun things that we didn't need to talk about.
Yeah. We decided that it was PTSD deep dive time.
Well, we're talking about it, so we might as well get into it.
Yeah.
And then come back and talk to you guys about it.
Because we were trying to find a stuck point for Chris, and then we got off topic, but we found things.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. Well, and I think I could start with, like the therapist and how we lean on each other and how initially all of my therapists are like, oh, and how do you avoid all those memories? Do you avoid all those memories?
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, no, we're not avoidant of anything. We get together and we talk about it a lot, partially because we have to confirm it with somebody. We're like, did this actually happen to me? Was that actually a thing that went down?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Am I remembering it wrong?
A lot of gaslighting.
Yeah. Oh my God, so much.
So we have to make sure our stories line up to make sure that something happened the way it did.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. No, we'd get together and we kind of deep dive things and we're like, let's talk about trauma. Yay, trauma.
Yep.
Why are we interesting? Because trauma.
I don't have a personality.
I have
trauma.
Yes.
We did the head thing at the same time.
Exactly.
God, creepy. Siblings are weird.
Siblings are weird. We're the best, though. I have decided.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Let me look at our notes.
Because we have a couple. So we have some very
We could start with stuck points because I found mine.
Oh, yes.
I found 2.
Okay.
I think I don't remember what they were.
Okay. So one of them was like, we both have the stuck point, and I think a lot of chronically ill people do. They think I'm faking.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what the other one is, but even every time I see the doctor, I have that.
Right. Even if it's a doctor that I know well.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I make them think I'm like, how do I make them not think I'm faking?
Right.
How do I control the narrative about me?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
With a doctor too.
Mm-hmm.
I had that with the guy this week though, the back specialist assistant.
He was being weird.
Well, he just taking notes and just seemed so incredulous of everything I said until he started the physical.
Yeah. And
then after the physical, he was like, "Okay, we'll do these treatments."
Right.
But it was just before that he was like, "What? I don't like." He wasn't getting it.
Right. Well, and he got stuck on you being on meds, and that one's always super gross. I hate that. Where they're like, "Oh, have you considered that your symptoms
I just need
are because you're on medication?"
Ooh.
You're like, great.
My nerve pain and lack of nerves is from my meds.
Right.
Interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, I get that one. That's definitely one of mine. At least when you're dealing with the medical side of things.
Right.
Like that's a big stuck point.
Yeah. Well, and I think that one we can trace back a long way because our whole childhoods was like, you're faking for attention.
Right.
You're exaggerating. Oh, it's not that bad. You don't need to see a doctor. We can't afford a doctor. So you better be okay. Because otherwise you're an inconvenience.
We were the problem.
Yes.
Which we don't want to be the problem.
No.
Which is kind of what my second one was.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? What was the wording? It was, I feel like I get too much attention. Too much focus.
So.
Like it detracts from other people's.
What was it?
When my needs get met, I feel like.
It's like if I need to have my needs met, I am taking away from other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Get
That one
a lot.
Yeah. Because you're like, oh, I can't have a bad day at the same time someone else is having a bad day.
Well, even just in the family, like, because I want people to be like, I'm worried about everyone else.
Right.
So I want to make sure everyone's good. And when I'm the center of attention and everybody's coming to me for something, I feel like somebody's getting neglected somehow.
Right.
And I can't stomach it.
I get that. Yeah. I get that, like, within the work group, I think, a lot where, especially with, like, Summer, because I take care of Summer. That's my chronic ill buddy. And so if Summer's having a bad time and I'm also having a bad time, I'm like, oh, put it away.
Yeah.
Gotta focus on someone else. Like, other people's needs need to be met because somehow in my brain, I'm like, I am the least important.
Yeah. Do you ever get the feeling, like, when we talk about it, that, like, you're complaining? You know what I mean? Because I don't want it to come off like we're complaining. Like, when that happens, when you want to focus on someone else, it's not like you're like, oh, well, they're getting all the attention. It's like,
no, it's definitely an us thing,
they
like, within ourselves. Yeah.
It's not.
We want to put the focus on other people. Right. Because it detracts from us, which we like, because we're fucking weird. Yeah. We're like, please don't look at me. But also, hello, I have a podcast. But yeah, no, I'm like, when I had to lay on the floor that day, that was really fun because I was like, all of these people are staring at me. Please stop. Also, go away. If you threaten to call the ambulance one more time, I swear I'm going to jump out of my own skin and die just out of spite. I don't know. I was like, stop it. This is not an emergency. It's like when my therapist was like, when I had to have all the EKGs done.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, are you scared? And I'm like, no. She's like, how confident are you that nothing is wrong? 100% confident.
I know that there's nothing wrong with my heart.
Nothing is wrong with me.
Yeah.
And so I think, well, and we have this running joke that, like, we're not lucky enough today.
Yeah.
So even when you went in for your angiogram, I remember being like, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not worried about you.
I remember when we were talking, I was like, I'm not worried either. So
I was like, I don't want you to be upset, but I'm like, not, this is not registering as an emergency in my brain.
She called me up, right? I'm in the ER, or I'm in the hospital. I'm hospitalized. I'm hooked up to the machines. Everyone's worried about my heart. I have an EKG every couple hours. And she comes in, she calls me, she's like, I'm going to say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, just like that.
Basically.
That's how it happened.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
I don't care. Don't care.
Yeah.
You deserved it.
It was not how I took it at all, so
No.
don't worry.
Well, because you and I are generally on the same page about things. Like, we're like, is this a thing we should be worried about? No. Like, the general air is no. So.
Well, we know when things are serious, though.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Because, like, we live inside of our bodies.
Yeah.
We are aware of what's happening and what's, like, not. So, if I'm having bad dysautonomia, and now what I'm learning about the mast cell involvement, it all makes sense. Because pressure changes and weather and the yo-yoing, because we went from, like, 90 degrees to under 30.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Generally, we are aware.
What was the next point?
Oh, the next point is kind of outside of the, like, medical field. But, like, a stuck point I think we've both dealt with is trying to, like, justify the things that we've gone through.
Yeah. Even though we know the truth of it.
Right.
We still feel the need to justify what happened to, like, our part in it has to be someone else's.
Yes. Okay. How about, sorry, it was a thought. It's working on being a thought. Oh, it's that whole thing, like, I can't be a victim.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we justify the things that we've gone through in this weird bass-backwards way of being like, well, no, that couldn't have happened that way because then I'd be a victim.
Right.
And if I was a victim, then I'd be, like, powerless and vulnerable and all these things that we can't identify with.
Yeah, there's like a certain...
For our own safety.
At least for us, there's a stigma about being a victim of something.
Yes.
And we can't be the victim of anything.
Right. Which is why I think we get so frustrated when we're like, you know how other people behave when they're in pain? And how much part of your brain is like, I want to be able to break down that way and feel safe to do it.
Yeah.
But I can't. Like, even after the car accident, I was 16 years old and I remember standing up, getting out of the car and being like, I should be breaking down right now. And I cannot. So I guess I'll do productive things like getting the person out of the car.
We also have like emergency handling. Like,
yes.
We've been raised with this, like, if there's an emergency, this is what you do.
Right.
Like, you don't stand off and get involved. You stay calm.
Yeah.
And do these certain steps.
Yep.
So part of that was probably programming.
Right.
But then definitely just not wanting to.
Right. I don't think I didn't get it close to breaking down until I was frustrated. And that's generally where that comes from, is like, as soon as I'm frustrated,
same,
I start to lose control.
Yeah.
But none of it is ever like on me. Like, I walked out of there with an injured hip, one sandal,
oh my God.
one flip-flop, blood everywhere because the side of my head was cut open, a concussion, like,
yeah,
I was a mess. My shoulder was wrecked. And I got the other person out of the car, handled the situation, went up to the road, flagged somebody down, and took care of all of it. And then even afterwards, I was like, nope, that didn't happen to me. It's not that bad.
I know what you're talking about. When I did the school shooting, when I was there.
Weird admission.
Even after the immediate thing happened, I remember just checking in on people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, instantly, like, there was run and hide. Then there was take care of people. And then, like, after, when the police were, like, ushering us to the gym, I remember trying to find all my friends and make sure they were good.
Right.
And then I got on the bus and I was like, can't break down yet. Not gonna happen.
And then you push it off and you push it off.
Yeah. I was like, maybe on the drive home with my mom, brought it up with her. She was like, don't make fun. That's not a good joke. And I was like, it's not a joke.
Can't put it away. Okay.
Until she saw it on CNN.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh. And I was like, yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. And then I just pushed it aside forever until I hit 30. And then I just about exploded. So.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's like we say, like, things fester.
Yeah.
The further down you push them, it's like.
Yeah. And the reason we figured out that I pushed it away is because I couldn't justify it. There's no way to justify that happening. So I just.
Yeah.
You go away now. You go in this box. It's fine.
Like, it. I think victimization, it denotes a certain kind of vulnerability that we were not prepared to deal with.
Right.
Like, we had never felt safe enough to be kind of vulnerable.
Yeah. No, Jesus. That's
breakthrough.
That's a good point. There was always, because I was always taking care of my mom until Benny came along, and then I was just stomaching anything that happened to me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to avoid being the victims, we either justified it, played it down, or pushed it away.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Because we weren't safe. Well, we didn't feel safe. I mean, in some situations we were. At least I was.
But it took a while to like even learn what safe felt like.
I don't think I knew what safe felt like until I hit 30s.
Yeah. When you built safe for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did the same, essentially. Like, I had to build safe and make it my version of safe.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like, when I break down, generally I do it with you or by myself.
Right.
Right? Like, safe for me is not detracting attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're like, I don't want these people all staring at me.
Right.
Which is why, like, I will be I'll cry in my car before I will cry at work.
Yeah.
And I've cried at work like once, maybe twice. Just pure frustration and then breakdowns.
Yeah.
But even then, like, they don't last very long. And as soon as someone tries to comfort me, I'm like, oh, I'm all better now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm better. Look, you did it. Yay. Good for you. Because, like, the focus is like, oh, this person feels bad that I feel bad. So I can make them not feel bad by feeling better.
Right.
Quote unquote. Right.
Yeah.
Because if you were a victim, people would pity you, I guess. So there's that element, but that's not even the full thing. I think a lot of it is that like safety piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to feel safe enough to break down and process things.
Well, because before, if we broke down as kids, it would just be for attention.
Right.
We'd be taking
You'd be
attention.
sent away to your room.
Yeah.
Like, you're making a scene, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So even now, like, I'm very much, my husband compares me to like a wild animal where I'm like, I need to go lick my wounds in private.
Right.
And there are times when I'm like, I come home and I'm like, I need to go have a cry. I am overwhelmed from the day and I need to go let it out. So I'm going to go cry. I'll be back later.
Yeah.
And then I go and I deal with it by myself.
See, I have trouble melting down on my own. I don't know why. If I'm all alone, I just feel like, I don't know.
It is. It's hard to like maintain that ledge, right? Because there's that like teetering point. And then if you decide, no, not now, sometimes you push it away too far and you can't access it again.
I know what it is. I'm at the point now where if I melt down, I need to melt down with somebody because I have something to say. Yeah. I need to express that to somebody. And if I have the meltdown on my own, I'm not going to.
That makes sense because I'm a lot like that too because like the last few times I've melted down have been like, I'm going to come over and we're going to talk it out.
That's how I function too, yeah.
Talk it out.
Right, so
we go through it.
I need a Jen or I need you.
Yeah.
Or Kaylee or Vizzy. Mm-hmm. Those are the people I feel safe with that I can, like if I need to say something to get it out and someone's going to help me. Those are my 4 people. Right. Yeah. Oh, and Austin too. I would feel okay. Yeah. He's very thoughtful.
Yeah. He's learning a lot from you, I think.
I hope so.
Like, I feel like he's come really far in the course of the podcast, and I don't even know the kid very well. But I'm proud of him.
Way to go,
I'm proud
Austin.
of you, Austin. Good job.
Hey.
Working on your shit, man. It's hard. It is, like, we talk about it like it's an addiction. And it is. It's a lifelong fight to not fall into those old habits. Yeah. And those old ways of thinking and those old, like, stuck points. Those things that we tell ourselves that, like, keep us trapped in our cycle. Yeah. And it's so easy to fall back in. It is so easy to fall back in. Mm-hmm. And we experienced it this last week, which is why, like, it cracked me up that we talked about PTSD and here we are. Yeah.
I think we handled it well. Yeah. Considering.
I was like, I wasn't sure if I should have been disappointed with myself for needing to flee.
No, not even
but
really.
I think it was protective. I think there was a measure of like, I was not emotionally prepared to deal with it. Right. And for my own sake, like prioritizing my own mental health
and well-being. Outcome. There's no good outcome had you stayed.
Right. Because those interactions leave me feeling empty. Right. Like it feels so lonely.
Right.
Like you're talking to a wall. Like it's not real.
Like an NPC.
Yes. And then you're like, I want to feel something in this conversation, but you can't because it's not safe, first of all. And second of all, because it's not real.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I've hit a point in my life where I'm like, I'm not going to mask anymore. And if you ask me to, I'm going to be pissed off about it.
Right. Well, think about it. The only two outcomes, one, you mask yourself through it, and that's just going to ruin you.
Right.
Or you say what you feel,
yep.
and then there's drama.
Right.
And then you feel bad for drama.
Yeah. Yes. And then I am the problem all over again. Yeah.
You did the right thing at that moment.
Hello, stuck point. Yeah.
Which is a good step. I mean, you identified it, and you did what was best for you.
Yep. Well, and I identified it in the moment, too. As soon as I heard, I was like, ooh, can't deal with that. No, thank you. PTSD. Dude, here we go.
We both heard it at the same time, and we both, like, looked at each other, and I was like,
Well, and we just, like... You go all stiff and you're like, oh no, the body is reacting. Oh dear.
Yeah.
But.
So yeah, I think you did what was best.
Yeah.
Did you use any coping skills when you got home?
I asked for affection.
Yeah, see?
Like, that's what I needed was like reassurance and to be surrounded in like the life that I made for myself and reminded that I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are doing a good job though.
Well, and that's what I needed because I'm like, the thing is that I spent so long fighting the idea that I was crazy and trying to prove to people that I wasn't. But at the same time, there are people that make me feel crazy. And I like that is the PTSD. That is that like I get sucked right back in and then suddenly I'm a child again.
Dude, you just hit a nerve I didn't know I had.
Huh.
Like proving that you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You get real defensive about that.
Right. And then
like,
you wind up making yourself look crazy, defending yourself against the accusation of being crazy.
That's what happened with Bappa that time that we were talking about the house stuff.
Yeah.
And I had that fight or flight. And it broke me because he didn't believe me. He was like, so-and-so. It's not this person, it's this other person. And I was like,
but it's not. It also is, but it's also not.
Okay, Mike wants to be here now. Stop it. Okay.
But no, you're totally right. Like,
I hate that. I hate feeling like...
Well, and here's the thing. Once the accusation has been made, any attempt at disproving it only goes into the evidence of it, right? Like, you call somebody crazy and they get upset. You're like, see?
Yeah.
Or they try to prove you wrong. See, they're crazy. See, there it is.
Especially when there's more than one of them.
Right.
It's as like soon as it's 2 on 1, you're done.
Yeah, like taking a beehive and shaking it and being like, okay, here we go. I told you they're feral.
Mad. Yeah.
They're evil.
Those bees, straight up devil. I shook them up and now they're attacking me. What were they thinking?
What the right?
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. Is like, once it's been leveled, like, it's a fight to bring it back down and to get people or to feel like people are not falling for it or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the longest time, like I had to fight that fight and go like, okay, who knows what's real and what's not? Because I didn't know how many things had been said. And I like years later, it took me years to like collect all of the like breadcrumbs of like, oh my God, they told you what the heck, what is that, where did they even get that one from? That is like straight up made up. What is this?
Yeah.
But it took years to like undo the damage that had been done. And then it's hard because like Bappa doesn't understand why I don't want them near my life, let alone in it. I don't want them anywhere near it. Like, keep my name out of your mouth. Don't remember me. Don't think about me. Like, go away. Straight up go away. Forever.
Yeah.
Forever go away. We are like putting up a wall. That part of my life is done and you get to come no further.
Yeah.
So in the timeline of life, that's where I drew the line. But it's hard. It's hard to like... But yeah, it makes you feel crazy.
Yeah.
When you're trying to defend yourself against being crazy.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
It goes along with like the gaslighting. But
yes.
Stop it, Mike.
It's a different kind of gaslighting, though. It's like planting a seed and then watching it grow into this like insane fire that you're like, oh, okay,
no, it's exactly like you said. They rile you up, they push you away, you process, come back, and then that never happened.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and your behavior was totally unacceptable.
Yeah.
For that thing that we like needle you and provoked.
Yeah.
Let's make you react and then turn around and be like, oh, see, you're crazy. You reacted. What did you do?
They messed with the fucking nail and it
modification.
Didn't mean to.
Yep.
It was chipped and I tried to fix it.
Oh.
Like it was loose. But I went all the way up to my fingernail, like all the way around.
You don't need skin.
Nah, skin's for losers.
What is skin? Well, it doesn't help that we're talking about like sensitive stuff where you're like fidget with all of my things.
Yeah, no joke.
Like I'm sitting with my knee right in front
Defensive.
of me. Defend. But we recognize it.
Yeah.
Which is in and of itself amazing.
It's interesting also to think that like we have PTSD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've come this far, but this isn't the end of it.
No, not nearly.
Like it gets better.
Yeah.
Like if we keep on this road.
Yeah.
It's just weird to think that there's a healthier place to be.
Right. Well, it's like we spend so long like picking at the wounds and instead of like letting them heal. And anytime they came close to healing, we were like, oh, just rip that scab right off again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, those sutures can go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is the stove still hot? I just healed from the burns that I had. Oh, sorry. I'll make it go voop voop.
She did.
But yeah, no, it took forever to like actually let it heal and decide to let it heal. And I guess understanding that we had the power to decide to let it heal.
Yeah.
Like we had to come to a place where we could take some kind of ownership over
the accountability of it.
Yeah, over our own trauma and our own reactions to it.
Yeah.
And understanding that like we're not totally powerless to it and we don't have to be victims to our circumstances.
Right. Yeah, you
we
do
get to choose.
actively play a part in how you deal with it and how it affects you.
Right.
Once you get to a certain point.
Yes.
You got to get over that initial shock.
Well, because your poor brain and body are just like, they're conditioned to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are put in that place continually, like, that's the funny thing about PTSD. PTSD is not just like, oh, I remembered the thing.
Yeah.
It's like your brain and body are like, oh, you're in the thing.
Yeah.
You are currently in that same kind of danger.
Oh, yeah, we haven't really talked about that.
That scarred you. Here you go, deal with it.
Have you ever had like panic attacks that are literally reliving the moment?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, see, I have that.
Yeah.
I get that randomly too.
Really?
Yeah, like we were trying to figure out the triggers on Thursday or on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's random anymore.
Yeah.
It's like before I knew certain songs would trigger me or certain like sounds, like random popping would really get to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like a certain tone, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But now it's like just random stuff.
Right.
And quick side note, remember when I was talking about the like crying and laughing thing?
Yeah.
That's a bipolar symptom.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's incongruity. There's a like.
Oh yeah, where your responses to emotions don't match the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bipolar 1 thing.
Huh.
Look forward to that next week.
Interesting.
But I found that out and I thought that was interesting.
I mean, it makes sense for like where you were at the time and without medication.
Yeah.
It's almost like we take them for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's such a weird thing. Because, I remember, especially with the car accident, I had to explain to my husband what, like, the flashbacks were like. Yeah. Because I'm like, it's not like I suddenly remember it. It's that I'm in it.
Yeah.
It is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hit that flashback point, I'm like, it's already too late. Like, it's happening. I am in panic mode, which didn't make sense for me. And I fought it for so long. I couldn't, like, justify the panic.
The panic that goes with that?
Because I was like, I made it through that just fine, and I didn't panic when it was happening.
Yeah, so it doesn't match how you were acting at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember just being so angry because the driver at the time, he was knocked out. He was knocked unconscious and had a massive concussion and didn't remember any of it.
Right.
And then I was so angry that I had to be the one who remembered. And I was so angry that I was the only one who remembered, and he got to just walk away without the trauma.
Right.
And I had to carry it all. And I had to remember him unconscious in the car.
I've had that. All the people that I was friends with in Deming, I have zero contact
Blocked
with.
it. Oh, well, that too.
I used to have, like, I had an old Facebook account
Yeah.
that had everybody. And that's why I ditched it, because I couldn't.
You were like, can't remember.
Can't.
Yeah.
And it just felt weird, like no one talked about it. I didn't want to bring it up.
Right.
It was awkward, you know? But
well, because we were like right on that cusp of mental health. We grew up right before mental health was even acknowledged.
Right. Now we're in the boom.
Yes.
The mental health boom. Invest in mental health. It's going crazy.
Would you like some mental health?
Turns out everybody's depressed and anxious. Wow.
Amazing. Look at all this trauma we created. And then we left.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's because yeah, PTSD it's not just like, oh, something bad happened to me and I like have trouble remembering it sometimes. It's like, nope, I am in it. Mm-hmm. It is happening right now and there's nothing I can do about it. And there's like this total sense of powerlessness associated with it.
Do you have any like PTSD related to medical stuff? Because I do. Remember when I had that first root canal and they couldn't numb it? And I kept telling them they couldn't numb it. Yeah. And they drilled the nerves out and I had to feel it. Oof. So now I have panic attacks when I'm in the dentist because I remember that when they're working on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I do remember feeling fillings and no one believed me, but I was young and like we didn't go to the dentist very often.
No.
So, I remember being blamed for the state of my mouth and that was really yucky.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was part of a larger trauma. I think medically, the big trauma there is all around medical gaslighting.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I guess it makes me nervous about future surgeries because anesthesia screwed up so badly on my hip.
Yeah. You've had...
I mean, I like to think of it as like, I learned a thing. I will never let them do that again. But at the same time now, like in retrospect, I'm like, okay, but what if I react badly to the anesthesia?
Yeah.
Or they give me too much again and I wind up not breathing and my poor husband has to deal with that again. And recovery takes so much longer and
they'll tube you. So if you're not breathing, you'll get tubed.
Right. But like that whole thing was just so...
not the move.
Right. It was so outside of everything else that I had done.
Yeah.
Up until that point. Because like both other surgeries were fine and I came out of anesthesia and it was fine. And then this last one was like, it was bad. It was crazy. And then I learned that, I woke up and that's why she had to double dose me. But at the same time, like she screwed up my leg. I still have like nerve damage on the inside of my thigh.
Yeah. I had that nerve damage from my shoulder.
Yeah. I'm like, no more nerve blocks. That was not a good move for me.
No. I have that recovery problem. Like how bad my back recovery went without like meds and support.
That was
like
awful.
I had nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody, like I didn't have a primary care at the time, I think.
Yeah.
So it was just me.
You were like in medical limbo after a major surgery.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So I've always had that fear. Every time I go into like a surgery now, I'm like,
do I have enough meds?
Make sure everything is in order. You're taking care of this. They're taking care of this.
Yep.
Talk to each other. Make sure that you're on the same page because I don't want this flip-floppy bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I do wonder about that because I haven't been with pain management before. And so now, and it was interesting. Last time I saw my primary, whom I love, like I can't say nice enough things about this man.
We call him Dr. Wright. Because his name is Dr. Wright.
He's the best. And he actually is my little brother's doctor now, which is fantastic and hilarious. He thinks that we are very similar and we have...
He's racist. You want to see the white sibling? I get it. No, I get it.
But
I'm not as interesting.
We did just learn that Kaiser might be an option for you.
Yeah, Benji told me about
coming
it.
Up. That
More
would be
of
really
this
cool.
fucking tooth stuff coming out of my
I hate that. I'm still getting it from the Crown.
Ah.
Oh, I had the same bad tech for the Crown, but it was fine. She was dumb. She put the Crown in backwards. And then was like, it's not seating right. I don't know what's wrong. And then the dentist walked over and seated it right away. And I was like, oh, yep, that feels better.
Wow.
Amazing. But yeah, no, most of my medical trauma is gaslighting.
Yeah.
And like not feeling believed.
Because I've been I had the blah, blah, blah. The ablations was another one. Because the first two ones, mm-hmm. I would rather do a spinal tap than another ablation. I don't mind people poking around in my spine anymore. Mm-hmm. After the spinal surgery, like when they took them 30 minutes to seat the nerve block, or the whatever it's called. It's not
spinal anesthetic. Yeah.
I was cool with them digging around in there. Like it didn't bother me. Ugh. So like I'd much rather do another spinal tap than do another ablation. Well, unless I got that girl, the nice woman that I had. Oh yeah, she was amazing.
She got it first try.
Oh man,
like here you go. Now you're numb.
Didn't even feel it. I was like, wait, you did it? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, why did it hurt the first 2 times? What were they doing to me?
Yeah.
You're a dude. You don't get any anesthetic.
Oh my god. Okay. Speaking of medical trauma and the awfulness, I saw this poor woman in one of the Facebook groups. I think yesterday or today. And she's got like massive bruising all through her shoulder. And she was like, I had a really bad dislocation. I went to A&E. They did x-rays. They told me I was fine and they sent me home. Days later, it still hurts and I can't figure out why, blah, blah, blah. And then she went in to see ortho and they looked at those same x-rays again. And this poor woman's been running around unslung, like not with a sling. She thought she was just fine and wasn't handling it well, with a busted collarbone.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the jadedness of, especially, and this is why I don't like emergency rooms, because they are so jaded. They're like, oh, you're not bleeding to death actively? Go away.
Yeah.
Like, screw you, buddy. Don't care. Don't care. Nope. Yucky.
I like urgent care. I prefer urgent care. Mm-hmm. But because like when you go into the ER, you have to put on your pain mask. Mm-hmm. You have to start playing it up like, oh no, I have this really bad thing and it hurts so bad.
Right.
You can't just be like, dude, I'm used to pain. It sucks. Can you fix the problem so that I can go?
Yeah.
I'm just here for the problem. But no, it's always something else. It's either you want pain meds or it's we don't believe you, or it's we're gonna test you first by sticking our fingers up your butt.
How many times have you been in? Yeah.
That was a fun one.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so gross where they're like, here, pass this gauntlet. Like, you'll let us do blah, blah, blah if you're actually in pain. And then they're like,
do blah, blah, blah.
You're like, did you apologize for making people do that? No.
No, and it's so obvious when they're doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
They're like, we got to figure out if they're actually in pain. That's what bothers me. Okay, I understand that there are people who are addicted to pain medication.
Yeah.
But I do not feel like doctors in ERs should be pain medication police.
Okay, yeah.
That makes me crazy. That makes me crazy that they're like, oh, well, I think you're faking, so I'm going to not provide the service.
Right.
Like, who made you the authority?
Well, the problem is that there are people that will come in and scam them, right?
Yes.
And they have to be super vigilant because I'm sure they get in a shit ton of trouble when they have multiple people, like multiple visits and stuff like that. Like I was classified as over-medicated at one point, remember?
Oh, I remember that, yeah. That was crap. I can't believe they did that.
Thank you so much for removing it. I'm so happy that's not
like
on
my anxiety disorder.
Oh, it
took forever to get that one
What's
off.
that other disorder? That
generalized anxiety disorder?
No. It's a physical thing that we get. Oh, some people get it. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it conversion?
Conversion, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Which is medical slang for faker.
Yeah. So it's fibromyalgia.
Or it's all in your head. Yeah. Not to say that these are not like real things. They're
terms that get used in a certain way.
Yes. They become like doctor slang for like, I don't know, throw this at it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anything wrong with you upon first glance, therefore it's fibro. And you're like, nah.
You gotta stop hitting the table.
Sorry. It's actually neuropathies.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You're good now. You can hit the table.
Oh, good.
I fixed it.
Now I'm afraid to, so I'm not gonna. Yeah, just crazy. And it's always like a lifelong battle because you're like, I'm doing so well. And then something happens and you're like, I'm 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly I am child.
It gets better. Like,
yes.
Like, the way we react to it has gotten so much better.
Right. It's not
noticing
so like jarring.
it right away. And then being able to do the right thing for us at that time.
Yeah.
Like removing yourself or taking a second to ground.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
It's impressive that we can do that now.
Yeah.
And I hope other people can get there. Like,
yeah.
It
doesn't have to be this whole like life consuming thing.
If you have like really bad PTSD, you should see a therapist.
Absolutely.
Not to like dredge it up or to talk you through it, but for the coping skills that you pick up.
Yeah. Coping skills
are amazing.
And you know what? If you really, really hate talk therapy, EMDR is a really good option.
What does EMDR stand for?
EMDR is eye movement reprocessing and DR. No, sorry. Desensitization and reprocessing.
There you go.
There
we go.
EMDR,
yeah.
So it's like rapid eye movement. I like to think of it as like hacking your own brain.
Yeah.
Because that's really what you're doing. You're essentially activating the like dream state in your brain and then reprocessing events and traumas. Which is nice because then you get to deal with it within yourself and you don't have to like dredge up everything and you don't have to remember specifics necessarily.
Right. You can
really
do it with a certain feeling.
Yeah.
As long as you get that feeling and then you can process it.
Yep. And then, yeah.
It's so cool.
It's really cool. And it works really well. Like there was a point where I couldn't drive down a certain street without my heart rate skyrocketing.
Right.
And now I can. It doesn't bother me.
But yeah.
But there are options. And yeah, practice the skills when you're feeling good.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to access them if they're not like well practiced.
Oh my God, yes.
In the moment.
I know there was one I had, not recently, but I think maybe like 6 months ago, where I couldn't remember.
Oh no.
I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I can't remember. What do I do? Like I was in the middle of a panic attack and I was trying to remember. And finally I got to the countdown.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can do that. And then,
it's
but I
so
hadn't
much
been keeping
easier
up on it.
with a partner too.
Yes.
Because having somebody be like, hey, tell me the blah is different. Like it redirects you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be panicking when you're like, oh, hold on, let me think about an answer.
Right.
It activates a different part of your brain and it brings you kind of back to the present and helps you to, I don't know, pull away from the memory and make it less right now and less real.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. But if you are alive in 2022, you probably need a therapist anyway. But yes, if you've got PTSD, definitely get a therapist.
Or if you think you do.
Like, look into doing groups. If you don't want to do one-on-one, if that intimidates you, look into doing groups. You can learn from people there. You can apply skills in a less personal way, I guess.
Yeah.
And that can help kind of bridge that gap until you're ready to really address your stuff.
Like, it can sound scary going over random stuff with strangers, but it's very healing.
Yeah.
Being that open with other people that are going through something similar.
Well, and being around people who are going through something similar.
You feel so much less alone.
Yes.
You feel seen.
Right.
And treated. Mm-hmm. It's good. Yeah. I liked group a lot.
Yeah. I'm starting to. I'm getting to a point where I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. There are points where I'm like, I feel like I'm detracting from other people's stuff because they're so in it and I'm so like removed.
No, you don't have to participate a whole lot to still get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're doing a good job gauging because you don't want to give fake answers and like be that person.
Right. I'm like,
because
think about how people feel.
That would take away a lot more, I think, because people can tell.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, so she's not really in it. And...
I just don't want to come off like the know-it-all, right?
Oh,
I don't want to come off like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what to do. And I like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these are just things that have worked for me and to help me because I have to depersonalize things.
Well, think of it like group therapy for addiction, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same. You don't want to be the guy who's had worse, like a bigger...
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I've been to rehab so many times.
Right.
It's the same thing, but they're just at different levels. Think of it that way. Like, you're further in than they are. It's not huge.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to, like, ever...
make someone feel...
Right, I don't want to invalidate someone's experience, even if I can't understand it myself. Because there are points where, like, I'll be in it and I'm like, I do not understand. Is that your elbow?
Yeah, my elbow just did a thing.
You're not supposed to have elbow problems. Stop it.
No, remember I told you they're starting now?
Dang it.
3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's time for her meds.
I will also take them as soon as we end.
Time for us to go.
Yes. Yeah. I hope we came to more conclusions this time around. I think we've wrapped it up a little neater than it was last time, and I hope that this has been at least interesting for you.
Yeah.
Even if you can't directly relate, maybe it helps you relate to someone in your life who's going through it. Because that's the thing. No matter how far away from our trauma we get, it's always there, and it's always going to be a scar.
Yeah.
And actually, I was thinking about this with EDS. What I've noticed is, so you know how your scars act up when the weather gets funky?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's how I think of like PTSD.
Mental scars?
Yeah. Mental scars.
I like that.
And so sometimes when things happen, they get inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to deal with the inflamed scar. Even if it's healed.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it still
needs
hurts. Attention.
And that's okay. Like, it is okay for it to hurt. It can hurt and be okay at the same time. And I think that's part of what we had to learn, really, was like, yeah, I'm in pain, but it's okay. But like, I'm okay and in pain, and that's all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So, all right, friends. I hope this has been something. I don't know. It was something for us.
Yeah.
I think we reached some interesting conclusions on our own here. So we'll have to go process that. In the meantime, feel free to join our Discord. Lovely people there. Really good support. Like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment. We still need to name our zebras. So please do that.
Yeah, think of it this way. This one has like a scar on his face. Right? You see it? Right here.
There you go.
Or is it? There it is.
Yep, there you go.
Backwards and upside down.
Yep.
So there's that one. And then there's the other one.
Who has like this like crazy eyebrow over here.
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of fun. In the meantime, be good to yourself, be good to others, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
This is all the people that actually wanted to see the room redo.
Yes.
This is what we look at.
Look at our couch full of all of our stuffies.
All of our stuffies. Well, and then we also have our zebras. So.
Yeah. They live on the table.
And there is a door in this room. We just like to hide it.
There is no door.
There's a door. There's a door. And then we got that. That's our office.